on Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. Our regional coverage of the Northern Marianas, reporting what you need to know, asking the hard questions, and sharing your voice, your view on the issues that matter in good times and in challenging ones and in changing times. KUAM CNMI, keeping our community at the center because we are better together.
It starts with an idea, a tip, a reminder. It takes us on a daily journey from north to south and across the region. We tell the stories of our community, our world at home, because what happens locally, regionally, nationally, and globally affects us all. Your stories are our stories. Your community is our community. Our day starts and ends with you, and we are proud to be your news leader.
Half a day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tomas Manglonia reporting on Saipan as Tropical Storm Bovalen approaches just in the next 24 hours or so. We are here at the Homeland Security Emergency Operations Management Center on Capitol Hill on Saipan as we wait to hear the latest, the first of which is going to be the first public appearance of CNMI officials to explain the trajectory of Bovalen and what we can expect here at the CNMI as it does track north. We just heard a few moments ago in a video from the Guam Governor's Office and from the Guam Lieutenant Governor that they're expressing their support for the CNMI and look forward to providing aid in whatever shape that takes in the coming days as we learn Bolaven's impact. This morning we did have two briefings from the National Weather Service on Guam, which provided more insight into what this storm means for the CNMI. The latest update that we have is that the National Weather Service on Guam says that Tropical Storm Bovalen is tracking to pass through the Marianas between Rota and Tinian late Tuesday night. They say it's likely to become a Category 1 or Category 2 typhoon. Category 1, what does that mean? That means sustained winds range between 74 and 95 miles an hour. Category 2, if it becomes that, means it would bring sustained winds of 96 to 110 miles an hour. Of course, all of this is rapidly evolving, rapidly changing. These updates come by the hour, if not less than that. And so please stay tuned to KUM CNMI, KUM.com, and KUM News on Instagram as we provide you these up-to-date information. I do want to add that NWS Guam, in their statement early this morning, emphasized that all islands will feel the passage of Bolaven, but any one or two islands could face a direct hit with maximum intensity. As they put it, little wiggles matter. And what that means, of course, is that you see the cone and the trajectory that it goes. It could gradually move southward, gradually move northward. Again, it is all rapidly changing. They add the current track and intensity forecast will continue to shift gradually in the next day. A tropical storm warning and a typhoon watch are in effect for Guam. Rota, Tinian, and Saipan are under a typhoon watch. So again, that's the latest that we've heard so far from those live streams, which I know all of you are tuning into, and we are just waiting to hear, again, first publicly from CNMI officials on what operations and preparations look like. We've been updating our KUM News YouTube page all this morning. We spoke with the education chief, Donna Flores. We spoke with American Red Cross executive director. We spoke with the chief of the Marianas Visitors Authority. All of those are able to be listened and streamed on our KUM News YouTube page as we speak now. So go over to YouTube while we're waiting for this press conference to begin. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and we will go live and turn on our audio once those officials come in any moment now. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and you can check all of our latest coverage on KUM.com. On Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, our regional coverage of the Northern Marianas, reporting what you need to know, asking the hard questions, and sharing your voice, your view on the issues that matter in good times, and in challenging ones, and in changing times. KUAM CNMI, keeping our community at the center because we are better together.
It starts with an idea, a tip, a reminder. It takes us on a daily journey from north to south and across the region. We tell the stories of our community, our world at home, because what happens locally, regionally, nationally, and globally affects us all. Your stories are our stories. Your community is our community. Our day starts and ends with you, and we are proud to be your news leader.
Gary, come.
Good morning.
Thank you, members of the media, for helping to disseminate important information about the anticipated storm that's going to be here, or that's anticipated to pass through the Commonwealth over the next couple of days. With us is, of course, our Special Assistant for Homeland Security and Emergency Management, Franklin Mabata, and Mr. Craig Browning from FEMA, who actually arrived this morning to talk about some of the FEMA assets and other efforts that are being deployed to assist the CNMI in the response to the typhoon. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to SAA Franklin.
Thank you everyone for showing up for this important briefing. As you know, we received this news a couple of days ago that this storm was developing in south of our area, and as it started to approach us, we are starting our preparation phase. During our preparation phase, we have a multi-agency coordinating group. We call it our MAC group. That includes the departments, agencies in the government sectors, and also our state partners from the private and sectors area. We have called them in to our meetings. We discussed about the possibility of the weather hitting us and what are our actions to take, and we are preparing for that. With one of the discussions with that is to open up the shelters. As you all know, we are currently in Typhoon Condition 3, and we should be posturing moving into Typhoon Condition 2. When we get to Typhoon Condition 2, that will trigger our emergency response organizations and teams to open up the shelters. And those announcements will be coming up after they have established all the sites. But they should be ready as of our meeting earlier. They are being prepped and just ready for us to announce it. With that, if there are any questions from the media, or I would like to have Mr. Craig here from FEMA say something, and then we'll entertain some of the questions from you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Our team, our FEMA team, is here on the ground. We have been here for a few days in relation to this specific event, but FEMA does have more than 200 personnel over in Guam that are supporting Typhoon Mawar back in a few months ago. So we have 200 folks in Guam. We have another 175 that have been tapped to respond to this event so far. As was alluded to earlier, our team, our incident management assistant team, is here on the ground in Saipan, and we are postured and ready to support the government agencies as needed.
All right, thank you. Just my first question. I'm Tomas with KUAM. I just wanted to ask what still needs to be done. In particular, I know just last week we covered an emergency procurement for Rhoda Power. During Mawar, getting the engine over was also an issue. So what still needs to be done at this point in time?
Well, and that's thank you for the questions. We did ask our partners, our agencies, on what things they need. When they identify or say those things that they need, we worked with our federal partners. And one of the things that you mentioned about Rhoda is that we are going to send another assessment team down there from our federal coordinating teams to assess the situation on their generators. So we can, both work with the local assessments and our federal partners assessment, and we'll see what needs to be done in order for us to make it quicker and faster to find the quickest way to fix the issues if there are some that we need to fix on site.
Any gaps on Tinian and Saipan that still need to be filled that you need to prepare for?
Not really at this time. It's just a matter of just more coordinations and putting it into the request form. So we are preparing those things. There are some requests for example, fuel for the both islands, and that's for the response. We are going to work on that, put that in a preparation phase and get it ready so we can execute it or hold it back based on the situation with the storm. When we needed it, we're ready to let it go. And then if we don't need it, then we will maintain it and keep it. So.
All right, and just my last question for FEMA. We just heard the Guam governor and lieutenant governor express their support for the CNMI and their offer to bring aid given this northward trajectory. What is FEMA's plan right now? Are they going to shift some of those resources up north given this path that it's taking? Can you explain your thinking there?
Yeah, so FEMA and the entire federal government is postured and ready to support as needed. What's important to recognize is when FEMA comes into the picture, we're a support role, right? Whenever disasters are declared or they occur, they're locally executed, state managed, and federally supported. And so we're a support role, and we only respond to requests made directly by the state. So we stand by ready in partnership with the state, fully to, see if there's anything that we can do to assist to move forward in the coming days.
So can you tell us how many FEMA personnel are on island right now, or just arrived?
Sure. So in Saipan, we have about 10 to 13 currently, and that is a management team. We are subject matter experts in various different areas. We're a team that typically are first in on a disaster to really integrate with the state, see what they need, and then we move that information up the chain, especially once a governor makes a disaster declaration request. We already have a management team already here ready to start pulling assets in and directing them out to wherever they need to go.
For the sake of the ordinary members of the community who have experienced many different strength of typhoon in the past, how exactly, in layman's terms, how exactly would you compare this typhoon to the previous typhoons?
Yeah, so typhoons affect everybody differently, right? I mean,
yes.
they're all different. I can't say one affects me different or you different from anyone else, right? We all have our specific needs in the way that we respond to these. And, that's what's great about having a whole community approach, not just the government, but non-government organizations to respond to these events as well. It takes an entire community to rebuild and come back from them. And so, the biggest part right now is being prepared, right? Have your food and water, have your fuel, make arrangements with families so that they know where to go when they need to go, and follow your local officials' advice. If they tell you to evacuate or take shelter, follow their advice.
Just this morning, people are already storming stores
Sure.
For supplies. So what is your advice to the people as to how much of supplies they need to fill their storage at home?
So from a federal standpoint, I'll defer also to the state here, but from a federal standpoint, we typically ask people to plan for 7 to 10 days, as far as food, water, that type of thing. And I get it. People have generators. You need to have fuel for that. But also remember your neighbor next door that might need some of that fuel too. So I'll defer to the state, see if they have any comments.
At this time, we don't have any control measures out as far as like how much you can buy and all those things. That's voluntarily on you to prepare for it. We are identifying the storm coming here on our way, and we cannot lower our preparedness for it. We have to prepare for the worst. And they are doing that, like our partner here said, they pretty much have to also think that there's others that will need it. I hope they, share those things and not just take everything that is on the shelf. But we are preparing on our agencies on responding to a worse disaster, and it's better to be more prepared than not prepared at all. So we are elevating our discussions in these meetings when we have our meetings, and we ask direct questions to each other, and our partners from the federal coordinating agencies, such as the FEMA that are there, are listening to these things, and we ask those questions of what we need, what do you need, and so we can coordinate with our partners that are here and state partners to assist.
In the event that somebody is underprepared, what kind of resources are available?
That's another thing. If they are, then the resources that are available is, go check for shelters, check for the shelters, and then you can probably get more information from them, what your needs are, and from what we heard from the shelter managers is that after the shelter, they will also assess your area. They would have to go out and make sure that your house is not damaged before they release you. So those are some of the things that the shelters can assist you.
And any update on the actual forecast? I think the last official update, we all saw it on NWS, was 10 a.m. Any new information or anything else you'd want to, share with the public about where it's going to hit, if it's going to hit? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's been shifting. We have seen it heading north a little bit and heading south a little bit, and now heading straight in between, the islands. The latest one we heard is that it's heading towards between Rota and Tinian, which is good for us if it went through that way, went straight through the water instead of going straight to the island. But we still cannot say that that's where it's going to go because it all depends. Like I said, it has shifted a couple of times already. We just need to be prepared, and like we always, say is that we just don't know, and just be ready.
Has there been any discussion about disseminating information on the radio? Has anyone across these agencies been discussing that sort of communication just in the event that telecommunication falls or just has an issue?
Yes, and we did discuss it. We have the public information slides on our presentations that's where our public information teams are in charge of that area. I know they are talking about Facebook messages, the media, like you guys are, and we also discussed about the radio stations to send out the publicity on to be pushed out on bio radio stations.
We're on it.
Okay.
Any concern about the infrastructure associated with broadcasting on radio, or
We're pretty solid. We've come through YouTube, and the addition to that is now we have a station in Tinian and a station in Rota. So we have KPMG in Tinian and KHA in Rota. So we're simulcasting all of our stations right now, so one message gets to all the islands. We're also getting the mayors of Tinian and Rota to also share messages over those stations. Actually, it'll go over all the stations, but yeah, we're pretty set.
And could I just ask about the airport? Any updates there?
Tomas, I'm just gonna have the other reporters give a chance,
Okay.
give them a chance to ask other questions. Just hold on. Is any Kim, do you have
I
one?
just, my only question is, do you have anything to say for those who may be experiencing some sort of PTSD from U2, Sodanor, even Mawar, or the most recent typhoons? Is there any resources that they can look towards?
Yes, they're available. Even the hospital have some counselors they can talk to there. We also have the office of the
The community guidance center?
Yeah, the community guidance centers, the one in Marpi also, we have that also in our slides for those that needs those area for just to talk to or any concerns we have. The disabilities office too, they are able to, and they're trained also to discuss on all those things. We did discuss also about those areas and also disabilities.
And Kim, just to add to SA, if I may, SA, I know that the governor's office put out information about, making sure that people are reminded that mental health matters. And because many of our citizens here, our residents in the Commonwealth have gone through super typhoons that has, stirred memories of the trauma of those typhoons. So we are asking residents to check in on each other, check in on their coworkers, check in on their friends, make those calls, help them if they are. Eating nutritious meals can help owing alcohol and avoiding drugs and avoiding anything that may cloud your mind. But the best thing that we can recommend is to ensure you're taking very defined steps to prepare for the storm, and also asking and seeking help and notifying your family and your friends if you do need help in advance, so that they can also be checking on you during the height of the storm. So those advisories have gone out, but we will continue to make sure that the mental health component is something that is going out at the same time these other preparatory suggestions and recommendations are coming out. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor
Troy has a question.
Troy from Condit, and then we'll go to Marina's Variety. Troy, hold on. You are
New or something?
you are on.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you right now. We're fixing it now.
Can you try again? Troy, can you try again?
Troy, can you try asking again?
No.
Maybe the volume on the computer.
Well, Troy texted me his message.
No, the volume on the computer is down. I see it as well.
Can he hear us though?
Yes, he can hear
No.
us.
Oh, there. We can't hear you, Troy.
He did text his question. I'll just
Okay.
announce it.
Well,
Yeah, he said.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What assets have the government deployed and pre-positioned for immediate recovery in Rhoda, Tinian, and Saipan?
We have not pushed out any assets at this time. It's just all coordinations with our teams there. For example, we have our personnel that we have listed on standby to respond and get onto the other islands. So right now we are just in a positions where we're positioning our areas right in our own areas of responsibility, but we have not pushed it out yet.
Yep, and I'll just add to that, if immediate needs of survivors post-storm supersede that of the local government here, FEMA is postured. Our distribution center in Guam is prepared with, life-saving, life-sustaining measures, food, water, tents, cots, and things of that nature. So we are postured and ready to support there as well.
We'll do one with Marina's Business Journal, Maureen, then we'll go to Marina's Variety.
Can
We can, yeah.
But while I fix this, Troy asked another question. Has the governor drafted the state of emergency and request for this disaster declaration?
Yes, we have already worked on we have sent it up to FEMA region on our request, and they are tracking that. We are just waiting for that to be returned, but we have completed that already and sent it forward.
Andrew, while we're fixing the.
Any word on fuel levels from either of the gas companies? Have they spoken about that at all?
We did discuss that. The fuel level right now, they are topped off at this time. There is not major concerns that we are anticipating at this time. They are in good conditions right now, and we have no. If they should go lower than a certain percentage, they'll be letting us know.
And then, Tomas, did you want to ask a question?
Well, the airport is open, and they will remain open until further notice. They have their own system on closing it down. They did spoke in our meeting that they will remain open until further notice, and they will assess their own assessment on when they will close the airport.
All right, and can I just follow up on, are we gonna declare condition 2 soon? What are we waiting for?
There's time and distance that factors also the trigger for us to elevate the conditions of readiness. Right now we are looking at the time and the distance out, and we are, like I said, we are in typhoon condition 3. We are moving on to typhoon condition 2. Once we set into typhoon condition 2, there's other triggers that the government will have to provide. For example, opening up the shelters ahead of time. So we're looking at opening the shelters, today, this evening, so that we have time for those that will need assistance to move into the shelters, and then they'll move in smoothly. And then we're expecting the typhoon tomorrow evening. That gives us time again, if they, hopefully that it will be still some time in tomorrow morning to move in. As soon as that one, I think we'll look at the factor again when the actual storm is going to be here, and that's when we will elevate to typhoon condition 1, which is usually about 12 hours before landfall.
Did
Do you mind if I give Gary an opportunity, and then we'll go to you?
No problem.
I just have a couple of questions. Has the price freeze gone out yet, or will there be a price
I can
freeze?
answer that.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
I know that is being worked on,
Okay.
and we'll have an answer within the hour regarding the price freeze declaration
Gasoline
or
price is
executive
low
order.
right now,
Yes.
so.
We're
freeze
trying.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other question is, are we gonna put some generators on the water wells to keep the water going during the storm?
Based on the briefing that we received, those water wells already have generators
Okay.
hooked up and are ready to be turned on. So they are already all prepped and ready to go.
Nice. That's very good.
Kim?
Thank you.
Can you provide us any updates from CUC if we should be expecting a power outage, just for us to prepare in case of an island-wide power outage again?
We can't tell you when the powers will be out. They've mentioned it. They are trying to maintain it as much as they can. We don't know what will be the situation that will cause the power outage, but they have done some mitigations as far as clearing some of the trees close to the power lines and telephone post area. So they were out there clearing some of those things that might cause power outage, but at this time, I can't answer what will cause it. So they're just doing their best to prevent it.
We have one more question from Candid.
Yeah.
This is for Emma. What advice do you have for people regarding damages to their homes in the event they want to make claims after the storm?
Yeah, so what's important is you don't have to wait for FEMA to start making those repairs. Take pictures, document your damage, and then when a declaration comes, that'll open up those additional resources. But don't wait for us, right? Start your recovery, especially making your house habitable, for one, right? We want it to be clean and sanitized and livable. So make those repairs, but you don't have to wait for us. Just document it and document and document.
Sorry, one more from Maureen from Mariana's Citizen Journal. She would like to know when the administration anticipates going to typhoon condition 1, and how many generators are on standby in Saipan.
Like I mentioned earlier, we are posturing moving into typhoon condition 2, and based on the distance again and the landfall that we're estimating, that's when we'll trigger moving into typhoon condition 1. As far as generators on the island, each agency responded that they are topped off fuel and their generators are all working at this time. The only one that we're concerned of is there's a generator on Rhoda that they were trying to fix it to get it one working, but they need more assistance on setting it up. So we have coordinated that with our federal partners to assess that and see what we can do to fix that generator. But they do have a generator. The island-wide generator is on and it's powering the island at this time. The generator that we have there is a generator that we have identified in the past to place there for the hospital. And it's there's one generator that's powering the hospital, but this is a bigger generator for them. So it's there already. It's just a matter of getting hooked up.
Just a follow-up question for FEMA regarding documentation of damage. What what counts as documentation? Because what if our cell phones are just damaged, or there's no way to power my cameras, or just in the event, right? Like,
Sure. And we get that question a lot, right? Especially following large storms like this. So, it's important. Just try to remember. If you can just write it down. Like, let's go back in time before cell phones, right? We still had typhoons and hurricanes and tornadoes and all that stuff back then too. So just document. That's all we're asking for. Truly document. If you can take a picture, great. Once the declaration comes, and if the Commonwealth requests one, we'll send out teams that will be doing damage assessments, right? They'll do the damage assessments. They'll come by and talk to, the property owners, and they'll get that information. They know what they're looking at, and they can tell new damage, old damage, and repairs that have been made. Again, don't wait for us. Just document what you've done.
Tomas?
I just wanted to ask, where is the governor? During Mawar, we heard from him daily. We haven't heard a public statement, in-person, on-camera statement at all. So where is he here in all of this response?
The governor was here. He's always present. When we have our meeting, was here earlier than me yesterday, and I was sitting down, and again today again. The leadership presence, I'll say that it's very supportive. He's there. He did the opening remarks, and was asking questions too. So he's fully engaged with the process. Of course, we missed to at least let him know that we were having this, but unfortunately, we didn't tell him that we're having this Tomas. But the leadership is fully engaged, and they're very supportive with this activities that's going on right now.
Okay. I was just wondering because we wanted to ask him a few questions.
Yeah, I wish we let him know, but he was
Yeah,
just
he does
here.
know he,
Yeah, he was here.
he
He
says
just
his
left.
regrets that he cannot be here. But he was here all morning and is very much engaged as S.A. Franklin Mabata indicated. But the fact that he's not here in the media briefing doesn't mean he's not here. Yes.
One more from Candid. Is the hospital prepared for a possible Category 2 storm?
Yes, they briefed too, and the hospital do have some patients right now. They have a plan for that. I am very concerned too, and that's part of my level of assisting and supporting as the territory coordinating officer and my federal partners here. We discussed that, and I have requested a medevac request should we have any that we need to mobilize from here to another place, to another hospital, and we have put that already in our request for those support, air support from rotary, helicopter support, and fixed wing support.
Last question for
On
today.
question, with a storm like this, obviously it can cause a lot of panic.
what would you guys have to say to kind of quell some of those fears that the public might be feeling right now?
Is again, be involved in the situation. If that's causing them, then they need to just look into our preparedness plan and get themselves also prepared for it. You know, that can signal that they are concerned. There is because it elevates their areas to how prepared they're going to be, and that's probably what's causing it. And they can reach out to any other agencies that they know that can help them. The HSCM, Homeland Security, is one. They can call us, and then we can direct them to other agencies that can support or assist them with their concerns to lower their anxiety or concerns. And again, we are opening the shelters. Should they have anything like for that that they are concerned with, they can go to the shelters and seek more information that can be provided to them.
And just to add to that, we are making available resources to assist residents and guide them in specific preparatory steps that they can take to prepare for the storm. What we also want to make sure is that residents and citizens don't, there's a lot of third-party apps that give weather forecasts, and there's many out there, and a lot of times they WhatsApp those messages or those forecasts. What we ask is to please rely on the official sources of information, including the National Weather Service and the information that's being pushed from the Homeland Security Office here in the CNMI. But please be certain that not to be taken by the different or be confused by the different third-party apps out there. I'm not saying they're not accurate. I'm just saying that some of them are, predicting various things. But use those resources, but rely more so on those official sources of weather forecasts from NOAA and from other very reliable sources.
Frankie, is there any?
On Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, our regional coverage of the Northern Marianas, reporting what you need to know, asking the hard questions, and sharing your voice, your view on the issues that matter in good times, and in challenging ones, and in changing times. KUAM CNMI, keeping our community at the center because we are better together.